before diving into the Super Bowl, we have to ask about your former coach, Sean Payton, in the big news. It looks like he's headed to Denver. So, what do you think of that fit with Russell Wilson?
I think Sean Payton's an incredible coach. He coached with me when I was in Dallas. He was with us, and he taught me a lot about the game in my early years that helped me, evolve and progress and try and hopefully improve. But he's got his hand in everything with the organization. So everyone has a job. Even the head coach normally has a job. But he's more in that Bill Belichick aspect of he's going to be a part of that front office. He's going to be a part of, being on the ground floor in the weight room. He's also going to be schematically designing. He's just one of the rare coaches, that I've been around. And that is a home run hire for the Denver Broncos. And he'll make, the Broncos for real quickly. And I'll tell you right now, that division is loaded. I mean, that is wow, that's going to be fantastic. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I'm excited.
I know. And I know everyone, always associates the coach with the quarterback. But, I mean, in all honesty, do you think that fit with Russell Wilson is going to be good with him? Not that he can fix Russell Wilson, but,
No. Yeah, your job, you're not just trying to, take someone and say, go do this. Sean's going to morph his system to Russell. And so, I think that there's going to be accountability in this locker room. He's going to go in there. He's going to create that culture. But he also is going to, play design matters. So if you get people open, people are better. If you have certain guys, he'll get the skill set of each guy. The best coaches are like, this guy runs these routes good. So let's not have him do all this other stuff. Let's go ahead and, put him here and just keep using. And so he'll get guys to know their role and to do their responsibilities over and over. And the same as a quarterback, he'll literally tailor this system to what Russell has done well his whole career. And then it's up to Russell to read out and go do it. And I think Sean will really help that process of him, the way he thinks and goes about. So I think Russell will come back very strong next year.
Fingers crossed for him. I do want to talk some Super Bowl 57 with you. What are your initial impressions of Eagles-Chiefs? And I know you always have an idea kind of what matchups may favor who going into a game. So who do you think has the edge here?
I think there's no question the Eagles have the edge. I think the Eagles have come up with a scheme that's probably about a year away from the league catching up with. So when I did their game earlier this year, I was like, wow, things are so efficient. But they had done an incredible job in the offseason of communicating with front office to the coaching staff and scheme. And so when I say that, sometimes you just draft players who are the most talented, right? And that's always, positive way a lot of teams just take the best player. Well, what they did, though, was they put their scheme in, and then the front office goes, now who fits this scheme? And now who's the best player there? And so I think what you found was, part of that was trading for A.J. Brown. I thought A.J. Brown was one of the most underrated receivers in the National Football League in Tennessee. He was fantastic. So that was a great trade to go pick him up. But now when you add in the fact that they have these RPO system, quarterback, read zone, quarterback gives it on a dive, quarterback keeps it and runs around the court, quarterback fakes it, pitches it, quarterback fakes it, now it's a play action deep, quarterback. Well, as soon as you have to have a quarterback who can run the ball and do this stuff, fake it, RPO right behind the zone defender, when all this comes in, you have to get numbers and play on defense. So you bring the free safety in. Well, guess what? You've got two great receivers now, Smith and Brown, and nobody can double cover them. And so you have to, create numbers on defense to stop the run game, and that just provides these great receivers one-on-one. You're not going to have anyone slow this offense down for a while. When someone does, it's going to take multiple times to play against them. This is a tall task for the Chiefs next week.
I know you've caught a lot of big games this year, even, a lot with officiating becoming a major problem in those games. Are you concerned at all that bad officiating could play a role in the Super Bowl, or is this something fixable?
No, I think all the referees, all the people who are, they're all trying to do the best they can. And so I truly believe no one's trying to do anything wrong. It's hard. These are milliseconds, these are tenth of seconds they have to decide in their brain, is it a penalty or not? And so, some things aren't quite as clear and obvious, In some aspects, you want it to just be clear and obvious or don't throw it. But That's always been the same way. This isn't brand new. And the league does a great job of fixing things, that you saw last week. It didn't hurt Philadelphia or the Niners. I mean, it hurt them. But if that game was close and you're a 49er fan and there was a drop that you allowed and that cost you points in NFC Championship game, you have a right to be very upset. But I think the league does a good job of learning that. And then next year, the expedited review, like all these things, New York comes in, they get it better and better each time, but it's never going to be a perfect thing, right?
Of course, we have to talk about your Cowboys and even Dak. I'm curious what you think went wrong this year, or how would you explain the uptick in interceptions this year? I know everyone wanted to focus on that with him.
Well, I think it's a good question. I mean, some years you throw 10 interceptions or 8. And then I think he had 15 this year. And to me, you've had years as a quarterback where you still threw 15, but they only caught 8. So some years, quarterbacks throw 20 interceptions a year. Some years they catch 7 of them. Some years they catch 14 or 15. So when the numbers, defenders drop it a lot. The ball's there, a guy just doesn't come up with it, or it's like, oh, that tip ball didn't go right into his hands. The guy turned a little or something, and the next time he was standing there. And so you get breaks, and then some years you don't get those breaks. And so this could actually help you long term when you actually go through this year, because he's always protected the ball well. But I also know, you're trying to win. He's not trying to just protect the ball, because just protecting the ball doesn't guarantee you win. You win more games by not turning it over, but you still got to score. And I talked about that with Josh Allen when he lost to the Bengals. Like, he protected that ball throughout the first 3 quarters, and they weren't even close to winning the game. And it's like, it's not just that simple. You got to be aggressive, but I call it aggressively take what the defense gives you. So I think sometimes when you look at it, there was a few predetermined throws that he would want back where he should maybe read it out, but that's like every quarterback.
Yeah. Last question we have for you, Tony, and thank you again so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Now, I know, you're no stranger to criticism. You played quarterback for the Cowboys. How does that outside noise as a broadcaster compare to the noise you face playing in the league? And how do you handle that? Because I know most people don't understand what it's like to be under a magnifying glass. And even, me on a very lesser level, like, it can be frustrating at times sometimes, to see people say stuff. But, like, how are you able to deal with that,
I think a lot of stuff. You get like a turtle shell to things as you get, like, the more you go through it, the more you understand, like, not everyone's going to like me stuff. Now, a lot of times people just say things that are dead wrong, so that happens a lot. And so, do you respond to stuff all the time? No, ultimately at the end of the day, that some things are just flat out wrong. And other times you sit there and you're like, oh, you know what? I can improve in this area of throwing a ball and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And you're just trying to do the best you can. And I feel like for me, you are just trying to be a guy who's learning and improving every year. And if you do that, it's a football game and everyone's out there. It's like the Cowboy fans like you, and then you throw 2 interceptions, then they don't like you, and you win big games, they like you. And that's the best part. That's what makes it fun. And they're right. That's what makes this game amazing. And I like talking about it because it makes it like, I want to build up the drama for people. I want them to know this is their whole life. All these players, these coaches, the organization, they are working at this 24/7 tirelessly. And so it's such a big deal. And I love that people are so emotional about it. That's what makes it amazing. And I just think you're never going to be, able to throw 100 touchdowns and no interceptions over and over. But you try over and over again.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.